News came out today that the Marlins are willing to trade one of their 4 starters, as well as they want to get Bryan Reynolds super badly. This article then goes on to say a few things, and that's what I really want to discuss. This article goes on to discuss how the Padres could find their way into this trade. By finding their way in, I mean it's saying instead the team could turn one of their starters into an outfielder. The Padres have been linked with adding another starter and have reportedly shown willingness to trade Trent Grisham, so there could be a match there. It's also been reported that the Pirates are seeking young pitching to headline any deal for Bryan Reynolds. Obviously, the Marlins have that young pitching. So if the Marlins are really keen to make a big splash, perhaps floating around Edward Cabrera as part of a deal would get Pittsburgh's attention. How's it going, everyone? My name's FamedFriar, and today I'm going to be giving you guys the scoop on the Miami Marlins pitching, but also how Bryan Reynolds can end up in Miami, and maybe an Edward Cabrera could end up in San Diego. So this trade, I try to get as creative as possible, and, you know, it's going to be very, very interesting. I'm not saying this is going to happen for a fact, but the possibility of a 3-team trade is very realistic there, because this is teams that AJ Preller is willing to do, that he's made prior trades with, and what would be, you know, one of the biggest trades in baseball. Obviously, that Sean Murphy trade was ginormous, and I feel like I kind of got a similar idea because of the Sean Murphy trade. I kind of got an idea of how this trade would look, and it's going to be interesting to see what you guys think of my mock trade. Of course, you're welcome to express your opinion. This is all for fun at the end of the day, but apparently it's possible that, you know, MLB trade rumors can see this deal going down. Let me go ahead and explain why I think this 3-team trade could happen, because I think there's mutual interest for all 3 parts of this trade. Unfortunately for the Pirates, they're going to have to get rid of Bryan Reynolds. You know, Bryan Reynolds is not wanting to stay in Pittsburgh, and they can get a lot of value for Bryan Reynolds. Now he's an all-star. He's one of the premier center fielders in the league. This is something, yes, the Miami Marlins are looking for, but a lot of teams don't see Bryan Reynolds as a center fielder. They still do need a right fielder. I mean, obviously, Avisail Garcia and Jorge Soler has not worked out to the dream they've dreamed of. So they have an ability in this trade to get multiple outfielders, and, you know, they're going to have to unload their farm a bit. Now, the reasoning for San Diego getting involved is San Diego would love to get rid of Trent Grisham and get a starting pitcher back, whether it is, you know, a starter from Miami, or there's a starter or 2 from Pittsburgh that are available that you could possibly get. This trade that I made right here, I did make with a starter from Miami, but you can also exchange it for JT Brubaker because it's about the same value on MLB trade values. Value-wise, yeah, that's what you're looking at. So it's going to be interesting to discuss this, and like Pittsburgh, they just want a prospect return. They want whatever they can get. If they're going to give up Bryan Reynolds, it's going to be expensive. He may go to the Dodgers, he may go to the Yankees, and now it seems like he may even go to the Marlins. So it'd be interesting to see how involved they would be. So without further ado, let's discuss this trade. So in my mock trade here, I have the Padres getting Edward Cabrera, young controllable starter, something that they would want to get, and of course, the biggest issue with it in terms of for the Marlins and why the Marlins are so keen on getting rid of Edward Cabrera is he has no more minor league options. They have plenty of starting pitching where he may not make it to the major league roster, so they're going to try to trade him whenever they can. So once again, Edward Cabrera would be coming to San Diego. Nick Gonzalez would be coming to San Diego. And like, yes, I understand it's hard for Pirates fans to see Nick Gonzalez getting traded, but at the end of the day, you have to give something to get something. So Nick Gonzalez is going to be on the move on because the Pirates get a lot of prospects in this trade. Now, what would the Marlins be getting? Well, the Marlins would be getting 2 outfielders here. They would be getting Trent Grisham and Bryan Reynolds. They have plenty of pitching. They have plenty of everything else. Yes, they could use a middle infielder, but I don't think Ha-Seong Kim value-wise made sense in this trade. So that's why I didn't put him in there. I mean, you could very well exchange Ha-Seong Kim for Trent Grisham, and you would, you know, adjust the value upon that. I could see that happening. It's very, very possible. I mean, at the end of the day, they get 2 outfielders. They need 2 outfielders, to be honest. They want to be competitive. It's a very tough NL East division, and I get that the Marlins are pushing the envelope to compete, but it's going to be tough to compete. That's why I'm interested why they're doing it. So what would the Pirates be getting? This is where I have a lot to list. All right, so this is where things get confusing. The Pirates are going to get Jacob Berry. They're also going to get Yedidi Cape. I believe that's how you say that. Nabil Crismatt, Nick Fortes, and they're also going to get, of course, Max Meyer. So that's the big return. I mean, you can change and mix around with a lot of these values, but this is kind of like the base idea of what a 3-team trade between these teams look like. Yes, you could throw Ha-Seong Kim in. Yes, you could throw so-and-so in. You can throw another person in. And I think the Padres can be more willing to trade Trent Grisham now that they have Adam Engel, because now they have a little bit more depth to help things out, because at the end of the day, Adam Engel could be your starting center fielder, starting left fielder. Tatis could play in center. I mean, at the end of the day, you have options. You have a lot of different options, and that's what I'm relying on for the Padres. The Marlins, they need outfield help. They get the outfield help and a surplus of it, and the Pirates get their prospects, so I think that's what makes it very, very interesting. This is just the best way I could work out a 3-team trade between these guys. I spent a lot of time looking this over, and to be honest, it was really, really hard to work it out value-wise, because Bryan Reynolds is a lot of value, and I barely could pull off a trade just for him. I could barely pull off a trade for him without completely getting rid of the Marlins farm system. I think the Padres, yes, they have the ability to make that trade, but I don't think they're going to. It doesn't seem like the interest level in AJ Preller isn't really there for Bryan Reynolds per normal. So that's why I didn't have Bryan Reynolds heading to San Diego. It's very, very interesting. The Padres get what they need, the Marlins get what they need, and the Pirates get what they need. So that's why I think it's a perfect trade. But that is going to wrap up the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're yet to hit that subscribe button, I highly recommend you do so. Same thing with that like button. And I'll see you guys all in a video very, very soon. Peace.
Yes. 305 to the 619, baby. Let's go. Let's go, San Diego. Live that shit up, San Diego. Let's fucking go. Woo! It's our fucking house. Hey. It's our house right here, baby. Let's go.